Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely crucial, a reality that literally impacts every single ecosystem on Earth. We're talking about global warming and the very real, imminent threat it poses to our planet.
Okay, let's dive into this. Can you imagine a world with extreme heat, floods, and disappearing forests? I know, it sounds like some dystopian sci-fi movie, right? But unfortunately, this is the actual, tangible trajectory of our environment if we don't really grasp the science driving it.
Look at this stark contrast we're facing right here. On one side, we've got the stable, thriving reality we all know, the environment human civilization was literally built upon. But on the other side, a totally different reality that global warming can create. It's a massive, dangerous shift that threatens to just completely upend those systems we rely on.
A planet in peril. To really understand how we get to that worst-case scenario, we have to acknowledge exactly what we're dealing with here. So, the crucial point is understanding the core definition. Global warming is the rise in Earth's temperature caused by pollution and greenhouse gases. Think of these gases like a giant, invisible blanket wrapped right around the globe. As pollution pumps up, that blanket gets thicker and thicker, trapping heat that should be escaping into space and just driving the overall temperature of the Earth way up. Drivers of global warming. To understand the how, we really need to dig into exactly where all this dangerous pollution and these greenhouse gases are actually coming from. And this brilliantly illustrates the three primary culprits driving this temperature rise. First up, we have vehicles. Pretty much every time a traditional combustion engine fires up, it's pumping emissions straight into the air. Second, factories. Massive global industrial output takes an insane amount of energy, which generates heavy pollution. And third, deforestation. Guys, this one is a devastating double hit. Not only do we actively destroy the very forests that naturally suck up those greenhouse gases, but the actual act of clearing them releases massive amounts of stored carbon straight back into the sky.
The devastating ripple effects. Once you identify those drivers, it reveals a really dangerous escalating chain reaction across the globe.
Melting glaciers and rising sea levels. This is basically the first major domino to fall. As that ancient, solid ice turns to liquid, global sea levels inch higher and higher, which directly threatens coastlines and low-lying areas all over the world.
Stronger storms and severe droughts. See, the destruction doesn't just stop at the shorelines. All that extra heat trapped in our atmosphere fundamentally messes with our weather systems. High temperatures rapidly evaporate moisture right out of the soil, causing these extreme, severe droughts. And then, the atmosphere dumps that highly concentrated moisture somewhere else as totally devastating storms. It's all part of the exact same supercharged system.
The tragic loss of wildlife. These rapid, violent environmental changes are absolutely devastating to global ecosystems. Animals and plants have adapted over millennia to highly specific, stable climates. When their environment experiences such sudden, chaotic shifts, species simply cannot adapt fast enough to survive the extreme heat or the total destruction of their natural habitats.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the human toll, because this environmental collapse directly threatens human survival. Unpredictable weather completely cripples reliable food production, while droughts dry up our essential water supplies. This ultimately makes life incredibly difficult globally. Protecting our future together. Okay, take a breath. It is not all doom and gloom. We know the stakes for sure, but we also hold the solutions. It's time to pivot and focus on exactly how we can protect our future together. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it gives us a highly practical blueprint for prevention. 1. Plant more trees to actively absorb those greenhouse gases. 2. Save electricity to reduce the strain on factories. 3. Reduce plastic use to cut down on that massive industrial manufacturing pollution. 4. Recycle waste. And 5. Use public transport whenever you can to immediately cut down on those vehicle emissions driving the heat.
As it says right here, together our small actions can make a big difference and help protect our planet for future generations. You don't need to single-handedly save the world, right? It's really about the aggregate power of billions of us making small, everyday choices that literally translates into monumental, world-saving change.
The blueprint is in our hands. Will we use it to protect the planet for future generations? We understand the science, and we know the solutions. Now it's just about going out there and actually applying them. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious, stay focused, and I will see you next time.